Good afternoon, it's Brother Shelton again with Ministries of Righteousness. Today's message have a lot of wind, so it may be a little difficult to hear some of the message. I'm going to actually try to edit the best that I can, and hopefully you'll get the point of the message today. And again, I hope it feeds you in a good way to help fulfill your purpose while you're still here on earth. That's why we're here, to help each other in the right way. So again, I apologize. A lot of the wind was blowing hard, so some things might be a little difficult to understand. But anyway, I just wanted to say that, and I hope you enjoy the message. God bless. Peace, blessings, shalom. It's Brother Shelton, Ministries of Righteousness. I'm out here again in my favorite place sometimes when I walk in nature. Last time I was here, I gave you a message about free will. Today, I'm going to be brief as we are going through a serious famine, drought, and I just want to show you some things in nature. From the last time I was here, the area that normally filled with water was more water than it is now. Even certain parts of this area has started to catch fire. We're here in the Houston area, which always rained a lot. Grew up down this way and in Louisiana. Spent a lot of summers here growing up as well. And it's always was green and humid. And never in my life, and I'm a little over half a century, have I ever seen anything like this while I've been living on Mother Earth. So I'm going to show you a few things, hopefully to wake you up and make you realize that if you ain't got God in your life, a relationship with God, you need one. Got to get back to God, and because these evil people of this world keep sucking more and more out of the earth, which is causing tremendous weather pattern shifting. They have created machines, devices to alter the weather, dating back all the way to 1944. I actually provided that information in a previous sermon. There's this thing up in Alaska called HARP. That's part of what they use to manipulate the weather patterns, amongst other things, amongst spraying things in the air to seed these artificial clouds, as they call it. But I don't want to carry on too much about that. I pray that all is well, that you allow the Spirit of God, that you allow that Spirit to lead you and show you. If we don't come together and remove much of these people from these corporations, these large corporations working with these governments. And again, corporations is what evil people hide behind along with governments. They institute governments to protect their corporations and their wealth. And the rest of us, regular everyday humans, are the ones that get the worst or the short end of the stick. Here we go. So as I was saying, this is all things that's been burning up. And look how burnt this all is. Just take a look. Never been this way. We've been in this area for 4 years when we moved back this way from New Mexico. This whole reservoir was flowing with water. Flowing with water, it was all green. As I walk and move over, you see how things have all dried up. no rain. And that's uncommon for this area. Not that long ago, you had Hurricane Harvey that dominated this area. And yet you have these awful droughts that is basically man-created, because again, God, the creator of everything, the holy creator, created everything to be in balance. One thing washes the other. Balance. I want you to look at the center. Look how that is all dry. Look how that is just dry ground right now. Again, when I came out here about a month ago, this was not as dry. Water was actually going over. It was drying up, but not like this. This is in a short period of time. This was flowing with water. I mean, literally flowing with water. It was covered with water on a regular basis. But yet, no longer. Last sermon, I was explaining about balance. You cannot constantly remove Earth's natural resources to use for greed, for money, faster than you give the Earth time to produce itself or replenish itself, and think there's not going to be no effect of that. It all works together. Trees, they constantly moving or cutting and destroying trees, tearing up things to build and build and build. Every time they destroy a tree, they're removing oxygen from us humans. A lot of this cancer has everything to do with what they call global warming. Because less oxygen, and you're constantly polluting the air, you're polluting the water and everything else with things that causes cancer. Animals eating, drinking things that's toxic, and we turn around and eating those animals. We're turning around and eating these vegetables and everything else. It all works together. Balance. Everyone has to come together if we're going to save or give ourselves a chance to save what's left on this earth. The earth will always take care of itself. That's how God designed it. But man will be destroyed while the earth will still be here, unless God chooses to destroy the earth. Now, they trying to hurry and make things go green when it's too late for a lot of these things. The only way we stand a chance is you're gonna have to shut down all these chemical plants. You're gonna have to shut down a lot of these big old industry things, these tech giants, and all these different industries that's constantly taking materials and things from the earth, that's causing all of these situations to happen. This whole area filled with water. Look at it now. Just dry, dead. All of this was filled with water. Look at it. If you don't wake up now, people, I don't know when you're gonna wake up. You live in a world that's full of a rat race. You wake up, you're programmed. Wake up, be to work at a certain time. Same old routine. Working for an evil corporation that's taking resources, that's destroying the earth, and everything that's on the earth, including you, me, and everybody else. And they tell you vote for another human that's more wicked, that can care less about what's really going on. Because all they care about is money and how much wealth they can accumulate while they're here. I take the stand, as I said before in a previous sermon, of my 3 unsung heroes in the holy writings that many know as the Bible. Those young men stood up to the Babylonian king known as Nebuchadnezzar. Those brothers' names are Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. They told Nebuchadnezzar, we ain't never gonna bow down to you. We don't care what you do to us. We ain't gonna worship you. We ain't worshiping none of your gods. We gonna worship our holy creator, our righteous true God that put it all together. That's who we worship. That's who we bow down to. Nothing else. You can kill us, do whatever you got to do. We don't care, because guess what? Our creator is the one that put this all together. And we rather be in his will than to be in the will of the world. That's where we have to come, people. These people that sits at the top of these corporations, that control these governments, that put puppets in office to basically follow their agenda, because their agenda is for one thing and one thing only, for the love of money. And as the scripture says, for the love of money is the root of all sorts of evil. Wherever you find love of money, you find evil. And you can't deny that. And that's what's going on, while everybody else is suffering. Again, gas triple the price, and everything else triple the price. You try to buy a house now, triple the price. They build these houses with cheap material. They're building houses with sawdust, basically. They take the scrap wood and they glue it together to make boards. And that's what they build in houses with. And they charging you over the leg for these cheap glued together materials. This is what we have come to. If y'all want to continue to live like this, live under the rule of man and not under the rule of God, this is how it looks in 2022. I don't want to live like this in this world the way it is. I'm doing all I can do to influence change for righteousness for the future generations. Many people talk and they have no action to follow their words. So all they do is talk and gossip, try to slander whoever's trying to do good, because they're jealous, they're envy, and they're not righteous. So they want to try to slander those that's trying to do some good things and trying to change this world for the better. God, the Holy Creator, is a scripture that says everything works together for the good. And when everything is working together, and the key word in that scripture is together, then a lot of good things can happen. The power of unity is the greatest, one of the greatest powers we can do as people come together for righteousness' sake on this earth. This is the Houston area, Texas, where it always rains, it's always humid, and it's never dry. I live in New Mexico for a long time. It's dry climate over there. It's kind of a deserty climate. You expect the dryness there because that's been the climate there. You don't expect New Mexico climate here in South Texas, near the Gulf, where it always rains. But this is what you have. The Rio Grande, which is the river that many depends on in the southwest part of the United States. It is dry as this, even worse, but it's been dry for a long time over there. But it's even worse now. But this is here, which should never be, has never been. But this is what it is now. If we don't call on God in prayer and in faith and in righteousness, it's only gonna get 10 times worse. And I recall back in 2015, something had occurred. Some awful situation had occurred. I can't recall exactly what it was. I don't know if it was a bombing or a massacre or shooting. It was something. And the Spirit revealed to me, it said it's only going to get worse before it gets better. And I reflect on the last basically 8 years, and it's exactly as the Spirit of God has revealed to me. It got a whole lot worse before it got any better. And it's going to continuously get worse and worse and worse if people don't wake up, stand together as one people, as a human, and put all of these racial differences and all of these other issues aside and take a look at life as I'm showing it through this camera and realize that we all got to live in this type of environment. We all are subject to this, and it's only going to get worse if we don't come together. We know the problem. The problem is governments, the people that's elected to office, and these corporate executives and these corporate board of directors and these wealthy people. They are the problem. That's the problem. Because their agenda is always about controlling the people, the sheep, leading the sheep to this kind of environment, leading the sheep to this, while they are hoarding whatever left is good to themselves. I want y'all to think about that. They the ones put us in this mess for greed. God created this planet for everybody that walks on this planet, the animals and everything else, to enjoy in peace. Man, in its evil, decided they weren't satisfied with the blessings God has already given them. They weren't satisfied with their lands. So they want to take other people's lands and come and impose what they feel they needed to do on these other people's lands. If we would have been still living according to the ancient native way, which is you don't take more from the land than what you need, we would not be in this mess. But because man wants to dominate and think you need to be subject to man, and man wants you to bow down and worship him like he's God rather than worshiping God, is why we got this. So y'all don't wake up and rise up, we all gonna continuously suffer, and it's gonna be game over for all of us. And that might be hard to swallow, because some of you wake up, oh, I only got a few more years to work so I can get my retirement check. I only got a few years to work so my 401k. Let me ask you a question. Is a 401k gonna save this drought? If you got a drought, I don't think y'all know the severity of a drought, a famine. If the land is like this, that means the land is unhealthy. You can't grow fruits and vegetables. You can't feed the animals that we eat. So now you have to start figuring out another way to mass produce things for humans to eat. And that's what they've been doing, because they've been knowing they've created this problem that's basically almost irreversible. And that's why they have all these GMO, genetically modified organisms. GMO, basically feeding you artificial food. Do you want to constantly eat artificial food? What you think artificial food is going to do to the human body? It's not natural. This is everything God created is supposed to function naturally. We must rise up, people. You can't be comfortable thinking you good because you work your butt off to have a fancy house or a fancy car and put your kids in good school. That's not what living is about. We all are accountable to each other. We all got to share this earth together. And if you're working just for the money, so you can have a nice house, nice car, nice clothes, and you're not concerned about this that's going on out here, then that ain't no good. Because we all got to meet that appointed time known as death. And ain't nothing can save us from death. Nothing. A 401k cannot save you from death. A retirement cannot save you from death. A job cannot save you from death. The company you work for cannot save you from death. Nothing can save you from that appointed time. Only God's grace and mercy can extend your time while you're alive on earth. And you better hope and pray and have faith that you've done your mission as God put you on earth to do according to its will, that when your appointed time comes to where it's time for you to exit out of this life, that His grace and His mercy will help you and get you where you're supposed to be in the next life. Now that might be hard to swallow, but I am Brother Shelton. I'm called to minister in truth and righteousness. And the truth is hard to swallow. I can't fake this. I'm not Hollywood that can put all of these fancy graphics and cut and do Photoshop and all of what they do in Hollywood to make a film and everything else to make it look good, so they can get people to go to the box office and spend their hard-earned money to entertain them. No, this is real life out here, people. Real life. Real life. If we don't come together worldwide, then we're hopeless. I pray that you've opened your ears and that you actually listen and really listen well and heard what the Spirit moved me to preach on today. This is real life out here. Supply shortages all over. We live in America. And at one point, mostly everything we had was American made. Mostly everything now says made in China or somewhere else. And now we're in an economic war with China. And when you look at the majority of the things you buy and you need on a regular basis, most of it comes from China. Walmart, the biggest food chain in the world, globally, majority of the things in their stores, imports from China. So if you have a country that says, well, y'all want to have an economic war with us, they can shut us down. And that's kind of been what's going on, people. You get to a point, you're going to have to fend for yourself. That's where it is coming to. Unless there's some huge uprising similar to the civil rights movement that changed the dynamics of basically world policy, especially American policy on a lot of things. If we don't stand up and fight even greater than they fought, we're done. Again, I'm Brother Shelton. I wish you peace, love, and safety. And please I pray that you allow the rightful spirit to lead you so we can come together, folks, and fight against this beast, this awful beast that's trying to take us all down into this dark abyss with it, known as what many call the devil, Satan, and all those that's working with him, following him while living on earth. Till next time, may God, peace and mercy and his grace be with you, and God bless you all.